Here's your wrestling news for December 7th, 2022, and we're kicking off today with WWE NXT, as this weekend will be the brand's deadline event, and a huge tag team title match has been added to the card. During last night's episode, NXT Tag Champs Pretty Deadly were telling a Christmas story in the ring, only to be confronted by the New Day. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods made it clear why they are in NXT and challenged Pretty Deadly for the tag team titles at Deadline. A quick brawl saw the second longest reigning WWE Tag Champions of all time get the upper hand, and it wasn't long later that the match was made official. The New Day have reigns as WWE Tag Team Champions, Raw Tag Team Champions, and SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and time will tell if Kingston and Woods add the NXT Tag titles to their collection this weekend. The New Day were certainly a surprise for fans to see, but they weren't the only main roster talent to make their presence felt. During Charlie Dempsey's match with Hank Walker, Drew Gulak appeared on the stage and studied Dempsey's performance closely. It certainly appears that the former 24/7 and Cruiserweight champion is interested in bringing Dempsey under his tutelage, which comes at an interesting time. It has been reported that Dempsey's father, William Regal, will be returning to WWE next month, and there are plans being discussed for the former King of the Ring to manage Dempsey as well. Perhaps Gulak will manage the second-generation superstar until Regal takes over the role, as Regal and Dempsey will reportedly not be on screen together until the second half of 2023. Gulak hasn't competed in a WWE ring in a long time, but it now looks like the Cruiserweight is looking to become a manager in the near future. More from NXT now, as it was weeks ago that Tony D'Angelo suffered a leg injury, which kept the Don of NXT off his feet. That's all changed now, as last night's episode saw D'Angelo make his in-ring return and made quick work of Zion Quinn in his comeback match. Grabbing the microphone afterwards, D'Angelo dragged Wes Lee for costing him 10 weeks of in-ring action and vowed to take the NXT North American Championship. Interrupting, Lee made it clear that he never intended for D'Angelo to get hurt, and their verbal sparring was cut short by the appearance of Dijak on the Titantron. Wes Lee is the reigning NXT North American Champion, but he's got no shortage of challengers, as the former MSK member is learning it's easier to win a title than keep it. During this week's Raw, US Champion Austin Theory defended against Mustafa Ali, but the match is being remembered for one spot in particular. When Ali attempted to Frankensteiner Theory off the top rope, both men came crashing down in a very awkward spot, and we now know much more about what really happened. Sean Ross Sapp reports that the idea was to block the Frankensteiner attempt and lift Ali up into a powerbomb, only for Ali to counter that and hit the intended move. The problem is that Theory didn't hold Ali when the spot happened, and it was Ali who called for the referee to check on himself and his opponent. Together, the two superstars called an audible for the match to end with the satellite DDT, and Theory was incredibly apologetic backstage after the match. There's no heat between Ali and Theory, and thankfully nobody was seriously hurt, but this spot clearly didn't go to plan during Raw. We've got some sad news to report now, as MLW star Richard Holliday has announced that he is battling cancer. Speaking to Sports Illustrated, Holliday said that this year has been a whirlwind and confirmed his battle with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Holliday added that there had been plans for a serious push in MLW, which unfortunately can't happen because of his cancer battle, and that he at first thought he had a nasty stomach bug. After trying to beat the stomach bug and not seeing any success, doctors confirmed that this is stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma, and studies show that over 70% of sufferers survive for 5 or more years after being diagnosed. Calling the diagnosis earth-shattering and devastating, Holliday immediately requested to start with chemotherapy and said he hopes to inspire people by coming out of this stronger than ever. Holliday's most recent match came against MLW World Champion Alexander Hammerstone at Battle Riot 4 in June of this year, but now he has a much more important battle, and we're wishing him all the best. In July of this year, Vince McMahon retired from all roles in WWE, and it wasn't long until John Laurinaitis was also out of the company. Unlike Vince, the former Raw and SmackDown GM was fired for his role in the alleged actions of McMahon with female employees, and his presence isn't exactly missed. For years, Laurinaitis was seen as nothing more than a yes man for McMahon, as CM Punk said in his 2011 pipe bomb, and now Jim Ross has spoken out against Johnny Ace. On his Grilling JR podcast, the AEW commentator and former WWE head of talent relations spoke about the man who replaced him in that role. I had a hard time as time went on trusting Laurinaitis. That's sad to say. I hired him. I gave him a job when he needed it. I don't think he treated me quite right. He just wanted to show Vince that he was a better manager than JR and all these things. so now his ass is without a job and he deserves the goddamn misery that he's living. That I perceive that he's living, and I didn't like how he treated me. Since being wished the best of luck in his future endeavors, Laurinaitis hasn't re-emerged in the wrestling world, and while he may be the father-in-law of AEW's Bryan Danielson, don't expect to see Big Johnny get a warm reception at any All Elite events. Last month, it was reported that WWE would be hosting an event in India in the promotion's first show in the subcontinent since 2016. This huge event has yet to be announced by WWE, but is expected to take place on January 18th, and more details are coming out about the show. According to PW Insider, the Gachibowli Indoor Stadium in Hyderabad, India will play host to the show with a 5,000-seat capacity. Given how much of a following WWE has in India and the company's 6-year absence, the stadium seems to be a small venue for the show, so expect tickets to sell out almost immediately. The show will be a SmackDown exclusive event, and Roman Reigns is expected to be at the event in what will no doubt be a huge night for Indian fans next month. Back to NXT now, as last night's show had fans fill the WWE Performance Center and hundreds of thousands of fans watching around the world live, but two people were especially interested in the show. During NXT, eagle-eyed viewers spotted Vincent and Dutch in the crowd in what many are predicting as a sign of their arrival in WWE. It was in October that both men departed Impact Wrestling along with Matt Taven and Mike and Maria Kanellis-Bennett. That month, it was also reported that WWE had showed interest in this group, though Taven and the Bennetts have since signed with AEW. As for Vincent and Dutch, they remain free agents, but it certainly looks like that status may have changed based on their appearance at last night's NXT. In Vincent's case, this isn't his first time being around WWE, as after his Impact contract expired, he was backstage for the October 10th Raw, and we can only imagine what he and Triple H discussed. With Vincent and Dutch appearing at NXT, it may not be long before the two are in the ring, so whether it's Pretty Deadly or The New Day who leave Deadline as the tag champions, they may soon be going up against one of Ring of Honor's most formidable tag teams. And we're ending today with Naomi, who hasn't been seen on WWE TV in over half a year after walking out of the May 16th Raw with Sasha Banks. Both Naomi and Banks have made public appearances in their time away from WWE, and while the Glow did appear with a wrestler at the Atlanta Hawks game this week, it wasn't with the boss. Instead, Naomi spent the evening with none other than AEW TBS champion Jade Cargill, and fans quickly responded on social media, questioning whether this could be a sign that Naomi is all elite. At the time she was suspended, Naomi's contract with WWE was set to come to an end, and while there has been talks of a return to the company under the new regime, nothing has been confirmed yet. Whatever the case, Naomi and Cargill clearly had fun watching the Atlanta Hawks, who came up short against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and we'll have to wait and see if the two wrestlers make more appearances together. That's it, guys. That's your wrestling news for today. Make sure to check out our channel for amazing wrestling content. Also, subscribe to our channel for daily wrestling news.